Yeah, hopefully we can get ourselves a strong session. I have this mute button on my microphone. When I start coughing, I hit the or try to hit the mute. I don't have the muscle memory to unmute. So apologies for that. We'll get that sorted. But yeah, I think, yeah, goal here today, get FOMC all sorted out, make sure we're smooth and behaving as expected. And then from there, hopefully we can take advantage of whatever momentum is out there. What I was saying is that the base expectation here today is for a 25 basis point cut. And I guess the biggest surprise would be no cut. Second biggest surprise would be 50 basis points or more. It's going to be very, very curious. It's also a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe like too convenient. Where yesterday, like a really big thing went viral on social media where it was basically like searches for home payment or help with mortgage or whatever at all-time highs relative to 2008. So that seems to be like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of something to try to push the narrative. But no conspiracy theory, Michael, here today. Let's get after it, figure out what we want to do here this morning, and hopefully we can have ourselves a pretty smooth trading day post futures roll, which means we should just be back to trading ES and NQ1 and CL1. All right. So first things first, right? How much stock are we going to put into yesterday's volume? If we know that there's a lot effectively forced buying and selling, right, on the futures roll, does that make the volume profile we see kind of legit, or is it maybe a bit suspicious? Yeah, right. It's suspicious. Even if we look at the last, say, 2 days, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday and this morning, kind of looks like indecision, right? Kind of looks like a doji. Kind of looks like market doesn't know what it wants to do. That's what you expect with the futures roll, right? You expect that sort of narrative. Yesterday ended up being a pretty good sell day, actually. A lot of good movements to the downside there, especially early. So it could be maybe an opposite day here today. Again, 6666 is a little bit spooky as a pre-market level. So we'll probably go like 6680 as our starting point here to the upside, and then 6690 to the downside here. Again, we need to ignore this gap, right? This gap is effectively meaningless. It is not there if you trade just the December contract, right? Just reflects the spread of the roll. So please, we're not looking for a gap fill trade, right? That's not a reasonable scenario here today. And so we're looking, if we are going to get a breakdown targeting 6650 and then beyond, right? So still just very much keeping it inside the ORB logic or ORB kind of area here. And yeah, hopefully we can get ourselves some smooth price action on this today. Base expectation, right, is a positioning trade going into FOMC more so than a trend day. And then probably 2 bouts of volatility here this afternoon. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get a nice setup for the remainder of the week. Again, today, probably not expecting myself to be super aggressive. But let's make sure that the markets actually give us some momentum first. So to the downside here, to the upside here, 24.6 probably would be the starting point. I like 650. I'll go. I don't very often not go around number, but it's too convenient, right? Because the pre-market high is also about 550, right? So that does give us those sort of 100-point moves. So very, very reasonable. And then to the downside here, okay, 400 and beyond would kind of be the starting point here. That's a nice, easy round down towards it. So fine, looks okay. And again, we're not going to trust this volume too much. All right, CL, green candle, increasing volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 without vol. Sorry, with vol. A little bit less dramatic there. Now, crude's a little bit differently, right? CL's a little bit different here as it's rolls on a monthly basis, right? Not quarterly. So a little bit maybe more of an efficient process there, a little bit earlier on. Like that volume standard is fine. At this point, we'd be looking 65 as our starting point here to the upside and probably an NA to the downside. At least not for a little bit, right? I'd like to see it probably go higher. So base kind of thought here is probably a trend line retest, like 66.50, that type of area. Maybe once the Bollinger Bands are kind of expanded. So we'll check, but I'm probably going to go NA for the bear case here. And then just also worth noting, right, we've got 1030 data today. So JS Woodruff, if if whatever happens, we're going to check, right, is at open. We're going to go to a shorter term time frame on NQ1, so like the 5 min, and then search up NQZ 2025, and we'll be able to see if the prices are the same. If they are, then we'll just trade NQ, right? NQ1. So NQ1 should be reflecting the forward contract, which is now the December contract, right? That change has now been created. So it should be exactly the same. It's only, 1 day a quarter where you have to make that change. So it should be back to normal here today. Okay, Apple week 3 for 3 here to the upside. Tesla inside bar. Microsoft red candle, increasing volume, gap up. So 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. Amazon 2 out of 3 weak with volume. Nvidia big gap down. This sets up as a mean reversion play. Now, this is also gapping down on like a little bit of extra pressure from China, right? So, maybe this narrative wants to find some sellers here, but generally a big gap down like that in a bullish market sets up as a great mean reversion play. All right, AMD inside bar. Meta 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume, probably the strongest setup here. If you're a bull this morning, probably the best looking of our tickers. Netflix. One out of 3. And then Google 251. Higher, high, higher, low, decreasing volume, gap down. 2 out of 3 to the downside without all right, and then the Vixaruni hanging out here at 16.05. And yeah, let's see if we can get this thing to behave nicely here this morning. So, like I said, guys, right, first thing that we're going to have to check here this AM is just make sure that ES1 and the December contract, right, specifically, so ESZ or NQZ and NQ1 are telling us the same price. Remember yesterday, right, there was still the spread accounted for between the two contracts, but it should be back to normal here today. So we'll say, Andy, check that. If not, then we'll just trade the December contract, right, just a straight up one. Shouldn't make a difference either way. So we do have some little operational stuff here to take care of. Besides that, I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, get my head screwed on straight here before the session starts, and then we'll have ourselves a fantastic day. All right, and we're off. So again, right, first thing to check, 533. I mean, that looks correct, right? Make sure all time frames. See, 1 min still funky, right? That's still showing me the September. 2 min is fine. 3 min is fine. 5 min still funky. 10 min fine. 15 funky. 30 min funky. So we'll just stick to NQZ and ESZ here today. Trading view stupid. So I'll just do a quick copy pasta here, right? Should be fine. One. Honestly, one day I think I'm just gonna have to find a better charting platform than TradingView. It's good because it's convenient. There's no way that this is the best that there is. There's no way. In pretty small range, I would say pretty small range. 23.25. It's not big. 3.7 or is that 5? That's 5. Okay. Bit better on ES. All right. NQ actually breaking down. Yesterday, interestingly enough, we had the pattern I posted the video about the other day, right? So clean breakout, first green candle, and then it's basically selling for the remainder of the morning. And not necessarily a very easy selling trade post that first increasing volume, but that is the pattern. We've seen that play out. Didn't work on Friday, works on Monday or works on Tuesday. Classic. Not a huge amount of volume here yet, not enough at least for us to be aggressive. Size of this opening range is also just kind of annoying. Last inventories day, we traded CL actually pretty well. We'll keep an eye on that too. But probably expecting it to be a little bit of a slower start here this morning. Let the market almost like digest itself a little bit. So let's see how things settle in. Oh my gosh. First sip of coffee in the morning just feels so good. Kind of watching this price action. It's a little bit not maybe as smooth as I would have expected. It's everything's selling off. So kind of a looks like kind of a blanket positioning trade here in tech so far. But we would need the volume to support any narrative prior to being aggressive. We do not have that yet. Okay, so again, let's see if this thing can reverse a little bit or find some support. I'm not super convinced yet. Probably not going to be the volume we're looking for here. Whoa, it's a nice little surge at the end, but not quite enough. ES hanging out in the very middle, which is annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Something about trading view charts where sometimes it just feels like everything's just moving in molasses. Like it doesn't always feel tick by tick. Okay, maybe a breakout here. My guess is that's like where the volume finishes on this candle. I mean, like, there's a lot of good. I mean, interactive brokers is what I use for my personal. I have no issues with them as an execution platform. I think that they're very good, but finding a good charting platform is tough. Yeah, so a little bit more volume than I guessed, but not by a lot. In the end, kind of an untradeable move for me, unfortunately. It's annoying. Yes, technically. Bit more space here. No 10 a.m. data. Probably how I'd want it set up. I don't know if I want the aggressive. So it has to be like a 671 and above 669 for the short. Let's see. I mean, yesterday we did a pretty good job, like waiting for the fake out. I might almost want to see bears fail first prior to being aggressive here. Or sorry, bulls fail first. That entry yesterday felt so smooth and so good. I'd rather wait it out than rush it. It hasn't exactly moved, right? It's given a little bit. Still doesn't feel necessarily like the easiest of moves yet. Or it feels like there's, I don't know, maybe garbage in the way. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a strong enough candle close. I think this say that I have trust issues is probably fair here. So far, I think still a pretty good decision to have been patient here on this. I guess the feeling I can't shake here is doesn't really feel like we have a clean runway yet. Feels like there's still quite a bit of traffic, maybe. I'd probably rather watch maybe a reversal here. Now flirting with that 69. So we've done a pretty good job here, I think. Not missed anything, guys. We've not missed a thing. Okay, so possible reversal here. Kind of two fake outs in a row. Yeah, absolutely nice. Normally I don't let those comments slide. All right. I think the high day is probably realistic. That's about 50 odd points. Could do maybe a little bit more. I mean, just targeting that green to red breakout would be nice. Again, I want to wait here. The fuck? Maybe I blinked, but I didn't see that 500 get touched. I just saw the wick show up. It's also setting up on the 5, which I think would be very interesting. Yeah, I would have stopped this out. So again, good decision. Potentially the fake outs now being established. Hard to say it's a fake out though if you get that increasing volume. Okay, so we're back in play here potentially. 494 would have to be the stop for now. 501 would be the sort of reference price. Please. And maybe we could do something like this as well. 481 stop. Nice increasing vol profile. We'd be targeting a little bit of a smaller move though. Um, It'd be one contract here for sure. Just be one contract. No 10 a.m. data today. Maybe do this. 497 stop. Trying to see if we can find a reasonable. $497 stop. Oh, scary. There's the fake out, possibly. Goodness gracious. I'm very happy. We're very, very paranoid there, guys. I'm very happy about that. That was nasty. Wow. See how this candle closes, but that potentially is definitely the fake out setup. Excuse me. That was a very nasty candle. Okay, can't exactly say that this is looking like a fake out now. Kind of looking like a bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume. Right here would be like 460, which isn't a ton of space. All right, so I'm going to look at this short. Stop loss 98. And potentially be looking at 2 contracts here. Reference price would be like 90. And I'm going to watch this, right, very carefully. $88 I saw there. Oh, there's kind of like a weird sensation where this trade kind of is making me feel like I want to rush in. Don't want to chase it. It's funny how I said that, it instantly flushed. Okay, still watching here. Close again. Not quite. Might have been the chance. Or like as close as we were going to get. Close, but no cigar. $666 again. Did I do 400? What I'm really like focusing on or thinking about basically is just not making a dumb mistake here. I would, truth be told, rather miss a trade than make a mistake this morning. That being said, I am looking at a short here still. Stop 482. Maybe I'm not getting quite that ratio right here. Fuck. All right, at least this will set up. If it can break down, hold through a low day, we got another clean setup. A weird morning. Okay, so again, we'll be watching here on this 3-min now. It's unlucky. Hmm. Have to be something like that. Let's go. Nice work. You got the entry I couldn't find. Well done. All right, guys. I am in short 473, 473. Stop loss at 482. And I have 3 contracts here. See if this thing can crack. A little bit, maybe nervous post entry a little bit. Okay, let's see if it can keep flushing here. It's got to push, got to push. It's a little bit too bouncy for me, I think. Let's see. Come on. There it goes. Let's even keep pushing. Flush, baby. I will not let this trade go red, guys. I will not let this trade go red. Okay, last chance to loom. On. Yeah, I don't like this, guys. I got to find an exit here. All right, I'm out, guys. I am out. Closed at 471.75. 471.75. Kind of a pointless trade. Don't like how it's stalling, right? I really don't like how it's stalling, not behaving the way that I expect. I will potentially try this again. That's a quick $89. Woohoo! Just didn't feel right. Just didn't feel right post entry. So again, doesn't mean that the idea is wrong. It just kind of means that probably my timing wasn't perfect yet on that. So I will be happy to try this again. But it's like you don't get paid for being early, right? At very best here, I'm early. So I'm going to take my little payday and try this again if it sets up. But I think the first thing one of the first things I said when I jumped in that position is it felt a little bit nervy. And then we got like a little bit of follow through, but without being able to crack new lows. So when I pair and I listen to my gut and I kind of see how price action is behaving, I'm not really getting the right story to hold on. Let's go, guys. Nice work, everybody. Obviously, this thing is now going to flush till like, 225. But I think we have another chance. If this thing wants to start behaving properly, I won't hesitate to jump back in. I'm just very scared that we get stuck in a stall. My biggest paranoia, because regardless then of how that trade goes, either well or poorly, becomes a very expensive mental capital trade, right? Where it ends up taking so much of our like energy waiting that I'm not sure if that's worth it either. So worth a stab. Let's see if we can get a clean second attempt here. We've got crude oil in 20 minutes. That could also create kind of like a second bout of volatility for us. Yeah, I definitely didn't maximize my P&L there. So be it. We can try this again, right, if it wants to behave. Like this 5 or 459, right? Like that kind of previous low a day seems to be a little bit of a sticking point here. But if I could get like maybe not, just go right back to 473. I'm going to keep it as is for now. I don't have any immediate plans to jump in here. Every day. I'm going to have to just suck it up one day and do this freaking update. All right, so yeah, back to that 473. So again, I feel pretty good about that decision. Did I do that? Probably a little bit too aggressive. It could probably have to just be that at this point, right? So back to that like 481 stop, 482 stop. That would have to be it. So I'll set this back up again. And I'm watching with extreme prejudice here, right? I'm gonna let this candle close. I mean, this volume, it's technically increasing, but it doesn't scare me. It's second lowest volume of the day. So I don't care about that. It's increasing. It's not nearly scary enough to invalidate me. My reference price, I'd probably go like this area here. Okay, so watching. See if it fakes out. Stop would be 482. All right, guys, I am in short 476.50, 476.50, stop loss 482. Three contracts again. There's a nice little pop. Let's go. All right, beautiful. This is behaving much, much better. Let's see if this thing can keep flushing. Well done, team, waiting for that. That is fantastic patience. Let's go, everybody. Again, same thing. I will not let this trade go red now, right? This is a big win here already, almost $800. So please, right, be very aggressive in protecting your P&L here. Don't be an asshole. Understood? Yeah? All right, so you can keep breaking down here. So you can keep breaking down, but so far so good. Nice work, guys. Nice work. Okay, see if this can keep flushing. Get through 60. Come on. We can flush through that low of day. We're going to have a lot of juice here. Let's see if we can do it. It's like 459, right? That's kind of what we talked about, 459. Okay, watch here, team. Watch here. Looking really sharp. Come on, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't be a fake out. Okay, let's watch here, team. Survive, hopefully, a worst case scenario. So now let's this thing push low and fast, right? It's got to be fast. You know what? It's been a bit more of a fight here than I'd like to see. Let's go. No need to get say that you're nervous. You're locking in a 3R win. That's fantastic, Austin. Let's go. Congratulations, man. That's beautiful. Nice work, John. Yeah, so let's see if this thing's got some flush left in her. Come on. Don't like that at all. And that might just be the little bear scare. Okay, not a great candle there for me at the end. Come on, push, push, push. Okay, guys, so I am starting to look for an exit here. I am starting to look for an exit now. Ideally, as P&L is increasing, right? Ideally, as P&L is increasing, as close to 60 as I can get, but my finger's on the trigger. I don't want to see another 70 touch. Kind of spoke it into existence. I don't want to see it touch 420. All right. I got to get out. Come on. Sell, baby. Sell, sell, sell. Yeah, it's going to be my exit chance here, team. It's going to be my exit chance. As close to 460 as I can get. We're getting there. Boom. All right. I am out. I am all out. 458 closed at 458. Let's go, team. Nice little 1K win. Congratulations, everybody. We had to work for that one a little bit here today, but wonderfully played. Let's go. How's everyone feeling? Let's go, Kiki. Nice work. Yeah, 100%, right? And what a difference it made getting impartial and trying again, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to place any further trades here, team, for sure. I'm very happy with our trading day. Chris, what made you scared? That's worth definitely tracking in your journal. Hey, Rusty, how's it going? My YouTubers, how'd you guys do? Nice work, Mark. Good job, Amon. So maybe I should have held on a little bit longer, but yeah, it was starting to get nervy around this area. I'm going to take my win and run. I don't feel bad about that. We gotta there's a balance here, Chris, right? We want to make sure that we're trusting our winners are going to stay winners and not that our winners are going to turn into losers. And we got to stop trusting that our losers are going to turn into winners, right? We almost have to like flip that mindset. Because your brain defaults into doing what is easy, not necessarily what is best, right? Especially in trading. When your psychology is impacted, your brain is looking for relief of that pressure, not necessarily looking for the most P&L optimized decision. No, John. NQZ is just the December contract. If you were trading micros, it would be MNQZ. Nice work, Doug. Love to hear that. Right. So MNQ is the code, right, for micros. Z is the expiration code, right, for the contract. So Z is indicating December, not micros. That makes sense? You understand the difference? Nice, Rusty. I like that. Send me a message. I want to talk to you about that. That's very interesting. So I've been seeing more and more props that are also allowing overnight trading with futures. And that would be very cool. Maybe I shouldn't have sold. No big deal. Okay, so we got crude oil inventories here. This looks like they're going to fade it going into it. This is a fun paper trade if you guys are interested in being speculative degenerates. Yeah, beautiful, Rusty. Beautiful. So it sounds like you've just loaded in the micros, John. You can put in whatever tickers you want into your watch list. So it just sounds like you need to organize that better. Yeah, we probably sold this a little bit too early. A little bit of a fakey structure there. That 460 was a big area. Yeah, 100%, Chris. Our brain's not yeah. It defaults to comfort and ease, not what's actually best for you. So that's why we have to study our patterns, right? We have to figure out why we make certain decisions or how we make certain decisions and start to notice the way our brain tries to trick us. Because that's ultimately what trading psychology is, right? Trading psychology is you doing things that you know you don't want to or shouldn't do, but are basically willing to do it anyway, right? That's like what a negative connotation is of a bad psychology. So we can start to notice the patterns over how our brain tricks us and like the trap doors we fall into. It's much easier to start to notice those things in real time and be able to break that pattern, right? That's effectively what it is. Well, I guess I was wrong about them fading it into the data. Yeah, the micro denomination guys will always be MNQ. What I trade, right, is NQ. Z is then the month designation. Nothing else, nothing more than that. And on my screen, you can also see what it is, right? So here it says E mini. If it was MNQ, right, it would say micro E mini, right? So all the information you need, guys, is always available to you on my screen. And we go from there. I'm guessing you mean this 10 a.m. candle, right? So 10 a.m. Eastern, not whatever time frame you're on. It's fine. It's the volume and the breaking of the lows, right? That's my setup. And when we looked at this, it basically was like a last 2 seconds where that little pullback happened. So I wasn't particularly nervous about it. The real confirmation, though, was this 954, right? So this is the signal candle that I traded off of. I was then just looking for an entry based off of this candle. So as long as this 10 a.m. candle didn't do anything stupid and completely invalidate my signal, I still had no reasons to doubt that it was reasonable. right? So this was my setup and confirmation candle. This just ended up being my entry candle because I couldn't get an entry at this 957. Right? So this is my setup and confirmation. Could not find an entry here. Could not find an entry after this one. So use this candle to look for an entry. I had no reason to think that it was necessarily invalidated. So pretty happy with that decision. Yeah. So John, NQZ is the December code. That's the contract we're trading. Right? So I don't understand this confusion. That is the contract we're trading. Look at my watch list, NQZ 2025. So that's the only other option I have too. So I don't understand the confusion. NQ1 is just the forward contract. It is a reflection of the forward contract. So it shows you a continuous chart. Right now, the forward contract is NQZ. We really need to understand, guys, the very basic structures of how these futures work, because this should not be such a bottleneck. I struggle to comprehend that. NQ and NQZ is the exact same thing, right? The exact same thing. John, I would really recommend going on like Investopedia and just spending a couple hours here this afternoon reading about like what a futures contract is and their coding and all that kind of stuff. We should not be placing trades if we can't figure that out independently. That you need to improve your product knowledge a little bit. That would for sure would be my feedback here. Because if we don't have confidence that we know what we're trading, how can you expect yourself to make any money, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I would really recommend doing that. So they did end up fading this move a little bit in the end. Pretty wild. So team, any other questions here this morning? I am not going to place any other trades. I'm pretty happy on my day. Yeah, I mean, we're the 3 for 3 though. Yesterday, I wouldn't put too much stock into that because we know a lot of that volume is just based on the futures roll, right? So, like, yes, it's trending, quote unquote, technically, but I don't think in reality that that's the reason why I took the trade. The reason why I took the trade to the short is we had a clean breakout, weak pullback, clean breakdown, right? So posted a video in the Discord the other day about effectively that pattern. You see a clean breakout, you get that weak pullback. If that second candle is a clean breakout, you tend to get a continuation for the remainder of the day. So then when we get that rejection off of the opening range, that's that pattern playing out, right? It's a clean indication of trending move there off these opening, say, 3 or 4 candles. A weak pullback that kind of ends with a capitulation stuff at the opening range, and then a bearish engulfing breakdown candle away from that to indicate that these bears, those ones who were in control early, are now back in control. Right? So it's effectively that pattern playing out. Any other questions here, team? Yeah, I might just have to start playing these speculative punts on CL. What price, Hunter, you're asking? Or what was the reason why I closed it? So the price I closed at, you can find in the setup alerts channel, 458. Closed at 458. It's just a default volume indicator, Greg. Nice work, Charles. Think about maybe protecting here. You've had a really big move. Price is going to stall, so make sure you walk away locking in a big win. So exit price, it's posted in the setup alerts channel, but it was 458 was my exit. And Greg, yeah, it's just the default volume indicator. Again, I would recommend going through the videos in the Start Here channel of the Discord as they break down my chart, my setup, my layout, my strategy, my general philosophy, my risk management plan, how to enter trades with us, how to best copy, how to best replicate, all those sort of things. So you're going to get a lot more out of the stream and make a lot more money if you do some of that basic prep work. It'll take you 30 minutes this afternoon. And it'll make sure that you're ready to go so that you don't have any of those anxieties when you're trading in the future. All right, any other questions here, team? Yeah, you too, Mike. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I didn't trade CL, Tammy, right? I just said it was a speculative paper trade idea. I didn't take a CL trade. Just the base thesis, right, is a big run up into data. You tend to get a move in the opposite direction. That was the only comment I made. I did not place a trade on CL. No. There's no point for me to analyze this now that it's a post algo reaction. It's not tradable. So no, I'm more done for the day. I'm not going to place any further trades or tempt myself into making any more decisions, right? If I'm happy with my P&L, I need to make it easy for myself to walk away green. So if I now turn on that side of my brain and start looking for trades, well, I'm just setting myself up to end up taking a trade when I don't want to. And then I'm going to lose money on that trade, or I'm going to make money, whatever happens. But there's a disproportionate risk reward there, right? So I'm going to feel a lot worse seeing my $1,200 day turn into a $500 day than I would feel good seeing my $1,200 day turn into a $1,500 or $2,000 day. So not worth it. I'd rather walk away and enjoy the rest of my session. Yeah, so no interest in anything else. All right, final call here, team. Final call. All right, team. Well, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the afternoon. I'll catch up with a few of you here in our one-on-ones later today. But besides that, everyone, have yourselves a great one, and talk to you soon.